Hello and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jessica Abella and I am a tax accountant and business advisor in the Seattle area. So today we're going to talk about the considerations around the timeline for closing a business in Washington state. So if you're retiring, closing your business, or selling your business, this might be useful to you, so stick around. One quick note, if you are selling your business, I'm assuming that you are selling the assets of your business and that the new owner of the business will have their own tax ID number and it will essentially be a new business for them going forward. If you are selling the business as a whole, they just continue on operations and none of this would apply to you, but that's a rare way to close out a business. So let's move forward, assuming that you're selling the assets of your business or closing. So the first thing that's most important to keep in mind is that it will take longer than you expect. Don't rush it. It takes a while for all of the little pieces to be final and to close everything out. So the first thing would be to determine your final day of operations. That's the final day that you're actually operating your business open to customers. So if you have payroll, notifying your employees, running that final payroll, closing out benefits, paying final benefit invoices, final retirement funding, all of those things need to happen. Then after that, you can close out your payroll service account. If you're using Gusto, you can close it out and they will charge you a fee. I believe it's about $200 for them to continue filing the remaining required filings. So your W-2s next January, for instance. Anything that's required to be filed. So you don't need to pay that monthly subscription anymore. You just pay that one fee. They'll file the remaining filings. You can close out your Washington state accounts with Employment Security and Labor and Industries at any point after that final filing has been done, that next quarter after your final payroll. The next section of things to work on would be reviewing your banking, reviewing what customers owe you or what other refunds you may be owed, reviewing your insurance, your leases, determining what to do with your assets, cancel your subscriptions or transfer them to a personal card if it's something you're going to continue. But wait on QuickBooks Online. Keep that open until the final deposits have been received, final bills are paid, your accounts are reconciled through those final transactions, and the financials are ready for your final tax return. After your final revenue comes in from customers, you can file your final filing with Washington State Department of Revenue and close that account along with any city B&O tax obligations and licenses that you have. Your final federal tax return can be done next. Final 1099s that following January if you had any of those required. One of the last things would be your Washington Secretary of State dissolution. So assuming that you are an LLC or a corporation, if you're sole proprietorship, this does not apply to you. But if you are a LLC or a corporation, Washington Secretary of State is one of the last things to dissolve. And you have two choices for that. One is to actually dissolve the company. There's a form to submit for that on sos.wa.gov. And the other option is administrative dissolution. And that means that you just don't file your annual renewal. The state will administratively dissolve your entity after you have not renewed. So from a tax and administrative perspective, if there is any possibility that you may wish to bring this entity back in the future, in the next couple of years, letting it administratively dissolve just sort of lets it sit out there to the side, and you can revive it by paying past annual fees that you didn't pay. So you can revive the existing entity. If you administratively dissolve, you cannot do that. With all of that said, it is always a good idea to consult with an attorney in making that decision, especially if you have debt that you're trying to get discharged, that sort of thing. Definitely work with an attorney on that. Hopefully this was helpful. Click like if it was helpful. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, comments, whether it's about this particular topic or something else that I may be able to address in a future video. And subscribe if you'd like to be notified of future videos. Otherwise, again, I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks for being here.